Okay, it was great, and let me talk a little bit about how that all transpired in the 60s. Upper Dauphin, Joint, and Likens were separate school districts, and as we'll talk about later on, they merged in 65-66 school year. But Upper Dauphin was good, and Likens was excellent in sports. Likens was really excellent in like football and basketball. And Coach Foster, who ended up being a legendary coach here, coached at Likens back in the early days and until he came here in the early 60s. And Coach Snyder, who was also an excellent football coach, coached at Williamstown, and he moved down here when we merged to coach our football. But playing was great. We had great teams, and one of the things I thought about the other day that I'd like to tell about is how when we played basketball back in those days, I remember my mom and dad would take off work. My mom would take off from work at 4 o'clock, and they would drive directly to where we were playing in this valley here, because you had to line up to get in and get a seat, and lots of times people didn't get in. If we were playing Millersburg, Likens, or Williams, any of the schools up Wiccanisco, Williamstown, Tower City, and later on Williams Valley, it was pretty full. So, but it was great playing in those teams, and we had some really good teams. It was nice. We got to know, in the merger in 65-66, we got to know a lot about each other, and the kids really became good friends from Likens and the Upper Dauphin Joint School District. And I think to this day, a lot of us, we see each other at the reunions. We're still friends on a daily basis, talk on the phone, a lot of things, but the school environment was great. We had to really listen to our teachers, because back then, they ran a tight ship here, I guess you could call it. I don't know, maybe they still do, but I remember I got paddled twice, so if you did something wrong, you might end up with some of the teachers had these big wooden paddles with holes in it. So, but all in all, the school environment was great, and I just wanted to say that I have 2 teachers from back when I went to school 57 years ago. I graduated, that are still living today. One of them is Mrs. Adams, and the other one is Mr. Ozenbach. There were a lot of before and after school activities. There were a lot of things for us to do. For the school activities, we of course had a pep rally on homecoming night, Friday night, that would be before the game, where the band would actually play there, and they'd actually do a snake dance around town, and it was fantastic. The football games, when we first merged, the first game was played at Likens, and it was between Likens and Williams Valley, who had also merged that year, which was a merger of Wiccanisco, Williamstown, and Tower City. And they actually played at the Likens field up there, the baseball field. And I remember the final score was Upper Dauphin 2 and Williams Valley nothing. Upper Dauphin won on a safety. The 2 teams were very competitive. And one of the big traditions at Likens back in the earlier days during sports, when they played football, they would march their band, and the football players would walk behind them from the high school, which was down on 2nd Street, all the way out to the football field. And so I remember them doing that night. But that was one of the things. The other things that we did related to school, we had pep bands and a dance band. We had very big bands. Our marching band was pretty big for a small school as we were. And so they broke off into we had pep bands for basketball before the PIAA decided to eliminate that you couldn't have a pep band anymore. But there'd be several horns and the drums back there that would play during the games. Kind of like it is in the college environment now, except with bigger pep bands. We had dances. The Holly Ball was one I can remember, where we got together on Christmas Eve not Christmas Eve, but Christmas time with our dates, and we'd have the dance band usually there would play, and then we would dance. And we had other dances. The prom went on back then. We had plays. We always used to do, every year the junior class would do a play and the senior class would do a play. There was 2 different groups that did the play. We had school chorus, county chorus, If you made the school chorus and you were good enough, you went and auditioned for the county chorus, and if you were good enough, you made that. And that was kind of exciting. And we had musicals where the chorus, the school chorus would sing. It's not like the musicals that you have today that are actually more like a play musical. These were ones where everybody'd come to the auditorium in the evening and watch which was a very large school chorus, sing.
Get here and we'll do the rest.
Okay. Back in first of all, there was Upper Dauphin Joint that merged. Actually, they merged the year this school was built. This school was built specifically for the merger, which the junior high school and the senior high school kids went to school here, and then the elementary schools went in their own specific towns. But it was Elizabethville, what we call Jefferson Township over in Carsonville, Berrysburg, Pillow, and Gratz all merged into one school district. At one time, they used to be their own individual school districts. And that was the creation of Upper Dauphin Joint. We were called the Huskies, and our colors were black and white. Later on, Likens, which was always just their own little school district, this happened in the legislature, decided there were too many school districts in Pennsylvania. So they passed a bill that required the consolidation of several school districts. And in this area, one of them was Williams Valley, one of them was Mockinoy Joint, which was Trevorton and Mockinoy High School that merged. And the other one, of course, was Upper Dauphin area, which was a merger between Upper Dauphin Joint and Likens. And I remember a lot about the merger itself. I remember when the legislature passed it, there were a lot of rumors that were floating around. I don't think it would have happened if it was up to the people, because there was so much strength in the people for their local schools. So I don't think the people wanted it to happen, which created rumors. And as students, I think we were a little concerned about how this was going to turn out. But once we started school in the 65-66 school year, it turned out that it was really great. We actually, what the school administrators did, which I thought was a great idea, is since everybody moved into this school here, the junior high and the high school was in this school, they had us become proctors, or whatever you want to call it, for the students coming in from Likens. So each one of us would be assigned a student that we would hang with during the day, take to the room, show them where the classrooms were, and so that they could get acquainted with the schools. And we did that for like a month. It was really a good thing, and it even made us closer as students. But the students ended up being really great together. And I think eventually the parents and the adults in the community ended up, as it is now, bonding together into one really good school district.
Come on, baby, take a chance with us.
Yes. I think the way it played out was when the school decided to merge, the first was the colors. There was a big argument about what the colors would be. Of course, Likens was black and orange, and Upper Dauphin was black and white. And they were Tigers and we were Huskies, so I think we pretty much agreed that we couldn't be either one of them without making someone on the other side upset. So first of all, we decided on our colors as being black, white, and orange.